Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, OG.
Good morning, Dr. Bati.
How are you? How
Good.
you doing? Good.
How you doing?
I'm fine.
Good morning, Rufai.
Morning,
I have to yell at you all the time when you're across.
Being here.
It's nice to have you in here today.
Yeah.
How's your day so far?
Good. How's
now we are missing Tundu MKO Abiola. Yes.
But I'm feeling all the heat from her seat. So.
Ah, nice. I don't know what that means, but nice. Well, all right. Good morning to you, viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United Kingdom, the Dukes of Cambridge and Sussex have paid tribute to their grandfather, the Duke of Edinburgh. In separate statements, Prince William described him as an extraordinary man, while Prince Harry says he was a man of service, honor and great humor, and the legend of banter. In the United States, in the wake of the killing of 20-year-old Dante Wright by a police officer, protesters gathered at the Brooklyn Center, just 10 miles away from the courtroom where the 11th day of trial of Derek Chauvin was set to begin. And Virginia police fires one of the police officers accused of using excessive force and pepper spray on a black U.S. Army officer during a traffic stop last December.
My dog is in the back. My dog is choking right now. Get out of the car!
In Myanmar, the military has been accused of charging families $85 to retrieve the bodies of relatives killed by security forces during a bloody crackdown that occurred on May 9th. Ramadan begins today. The Sultan of Sokoto in Nigeria announced the sighting of the Ramadan crescent after Saudi Arabia. And celebrations across Russia to mark the 60th anniversary of the first man to travel to space, Yuri Gagarin. Under sports, Hideki Matsuyama, making history as the first Japanese to win the Masters title, continues to trend. And Nigerian-born wrestler Apollo Crews, winning his first Intercontinental title at the WWE WrestleMania 37 after defeating America's Big E, has made the rounds.
It's Godzilla.
Finally, under entertainment, Godzilla vs. Kong is officially the biggest box office hit in the US and Canada, bringing in a record $60 million in the COVID era and is expected to hit $358 million globally. Well, let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. Captain Adeolu Adedayo and the 11 soldiers that were buried on Monday have sent shockwaves across Nigeria. The soldiers who were brutally killed by unknown gunmen were given a state burial attended by family members and senior officers. A general salute was given to the fallen soldiers with 21 gunshots and the presentation of military attires and the national flag to the next of kin of the deceased. The governor of Buries State, Samuel Autumn, who led the government delegation to the funeral, apologized to the victims' families. Let's take a listen.
I equally want to apologize to the families of the bereaved in the course of my trying to manage this challenge. If I said anything that was offensive to the families of the bereaved, I want to say that I'm sorry.
Rufai, this was such a horrific incident that happened in Benue State. These fallen heroes, I call them heroes, were described as peacemakers. It is so heartbreaking to see the family members of these soldiers, these gallant soldiers, suffer the way that they do.
This should not have happened in the first place. I mean, it just goes to show the massive insecurity in this country, and that has been going on for quite a while. And like I keep saying, our military has been stretched. I've never seen a time in recent time, probably maybe during the Civil War, that the military has been this stretched. There are pockets of fire they have to put out in every part of the country, and it's just very sad. We've lost another 11 gallant soldiers in this country, people that signed up, with their lives for the country, and they paid the supreme price with their life for something that could have been avoided. We all know it was a banditry issue that went in there, and they were killed, and this continued. Adding up to also the other, people we've lost, people from the Beechcroft Plain. I mean, I can, at the count of my finger, from January till now, I think we've lost close to over 50 soldiers in this country. And it's quite sad that this is happening at a point in time like this. This security is mammoth, but something has to be done about it. We have to look for ways of calming things down in this country. And what are the pressure points affecting this country? Massive unemployment is part of them. Governmental failure on every level is part of them. And these are things that are staring at us in the face. Because there is no smoke without fire. And we are seeing all of this happen in our society and nothing can be done about it. That's a very sad part. Government is doing their own part here. Kudos to them. But we should avoid these deaths. These are deaths we could avoid. Because I always say, you can never put yourself in the shoes of their family members. These are breadwinners that are gone.
Yes.
And it just continues like that.
And to think that they were declared missing for a period of time before they found their bodies, Dr. Abati, that was horrific for me to read.
Every death diminishes us.
Yeah.
The fact that these are soldiers and whose job, entails the payment of the supreme sacrifice in defense of their nation, in protection, in the cause of protecting their country, does not mitigate the fact that every death reduces something from our humanity. Now, this burial now, those caskets that you see there, these are the sons of some mothers. These are the husbands of some women. These are the fathers of some young children. Look at that lady there, in extreme grief, carrying a small baby.
Yes.
That baby now has no future. She has a future, but a future now without her father.
Yes.
She's become an orphan in a sense so early in her life. And the pain of it is not reduced, as I said, by the fact that these are soldiers who died in the line of duty. They were said to have been on a stabilization assignment. They are members of the 72 Battalion, Makurdi, and then they went missing. The army set up a search and rescue team, and later all bodies were recovered. Then, of course, you have this ceremony here. We're hoping, yes, the Nigerian army has played its part in terms of process, in terms of giving them a befitting burial, but we hope that, the Nigerian army will also go further and ensure that their entitlements, whatever their entitlements are made available to their families, and that their families, are treated humanely. Because we have had cases, we have had reports of military authorities ejecting families of fallen heroes, shortly after the burial, and adding to the grief and the agony of the family. We hope that, there will be compassion in line with the, promises that have been made by the new chief of army staff. Now, as I watch that ceremony on television, the gun salute and all of that, I'm also reminded of the recent Nigerian Air Force plane that crashed in the northeastern flank, and how the Nigerian Air Force said they've been conducting a search and rescue operation. Now, Boko Haram said it was responsible for that incident, but the Nigerian Air Force says, no, that is not true. Now, all of this that I'm narrating was around the first week of April. Now, here we are at the middle of the, more or less, at the middle of the month, and we have not had any further information from the Nigerian Air Force. And you can imagine what anxiety and agony the families of those other persons will also be going through. And I'm sure members of the relatives of those other officers, the two of them, Flight Lieutenant Chapel and Flight Lieutenant John Abolarinwa, watching this kind of thing, the way they will also feel, about how this kind of tragedy affects families. But when we see things like this, it also makes us to even appreciate our soldiers more.
Yes.
They pay the supreme sacrifice. And that's why I tell people, when every Nigerian president is making a major speech, there's always a paragraph that is necessarily inserted into it, on special occasions, to praise the gallantry of the Nigerian soldier, whose job places him in danger, and and he may, end up paying the supreme sacrifice so that the rest of us can have a sense of security. We commiserate with all the affected families, and may the souls of the departed rest in peace. We commiserate also with the Nigerian army that has again and again to bury his own.
Well said, Dr. Abati. May their souls rest in peace. Well, let's take another story. With reactions trailing Twitter's announcement to set up its West African operational headquarters in Ghana. The chief executive officer of the microblogging platform and social media platform, Jack Dorsey, made the announcement via Twitter and got an immediate response from the president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, who hailed the move while expressing his administration's support for the company. The US-based networking service announced that its decision to kick off its African expansion with Ghana stems from the country's dealings with African Continental Free Trade Area and its openness towards the internet, while Nigerians have shared mixed reactions. Let's take a tweet from Dr. Olu Fumilayo, who wrote, Ghana has 31 million people, 8 million social media users. Nigeria has 200 million people, 33 million social media users. Guess where Twitter chose to have as its headquarters of African operations? Ghana. This is the rhetoric we're hearing everywhere. I don't know where she got her statistics from in terms of the 8 million social media users. We can't really say that's the actual figure. But you know that the statement that Twitter had released, and they had given a few reasons why they chose Ghana. And one of the reasons that I really love was the fact that they are open with democracy. And this is one of the things that we should emulate Ghana for. Not only that, also with the social media bill that they released, as well, that has been causing a huge controversy in Nigeria. And, a lot of Nigerians are talking about that.
All right, two things I have to say about this.
Noticing that.
Shouldn't we go on break?
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
he can speak for 30 seconds and we'll take a break. We'll come back.
Okay, two things. Number one, I'll tell you, is Nigeria is still the biggest market.
Yes.
Twitter is doing this because of adjacency. Jack Dorsey did come 2019 to Nigeria. I met him when he was around.
Yes.
And he was talking about coming to Africa to set up because Africa is the next frontier.
Yes.
But we'll go on break. I'll come back and do the full analysis.
All right, so I guess we'll go on a short break now. And when we come back, what's trending on the morning show? We'll continue. Stay with us. Welcome back to the morning show. We're still on What's Trending. Rufai, before we went on a break, we were talking about Twitter's decision to open its operational headquarters in West Africa, in Ghana.
West Africa. So as we were saying, they are trying to happen adjacency. The fact that Accra is closer to Lagos. Because when you even look at the roles they put out there, most of the roles are roles that are going to be taken over by Nigerian. They still want to target the Nigerian market. A lot of conversations are going on. About 33 million, like I was said. Interactions and conversations are going on Twitter. If something trends in Nigeria, there's a high possibility it's going to trend around the world. So what does Twitter need? They need to be able to feed into that Nigerian market. And when I met Jack Dorsey in 2019, when he came and he had an event at Tech Point, this was the same thing he was talking. The hallmark of those conversations. And it was at that venue he picked somebody that did something that created a Twitter bot, and he told him to come work with him in Twitter. So they're targeting the Nigerian market. But the big question is, why are they not coming to Nigeria? Why they're not coming to Nigeria is because they want a stable business environment. Yes. And Nigeria is not looking like that bet now. When you look at even ease of doing business rankings, Ghana ranks way better than Nigeria in ease of doing business. They've been able to move up the notches and they've been able to do well for themselves. There are still many factors that hold us back in Nigeria. Factors like free speech. Questions around free speech, questions around social media bill, questions around what happened in October.
During NSAS
protests and the likes and things like that. And all the brouhaha that came out of that. So they want an ecosystem that will help them to be able to be a launch pad to other paths as regards connectivity and the likes. The argument on the part of the government has been, Microsoft had done it. Yes, Microsoft invested about 100 million US dollars. They've built a hub, a tech hub here, where, a lot of software developers can develop for Microsoft and the likes. But let's not also forget that Microsoft has that very big ecosystem. And the nature of business Microsoft does is different from Twitter. Microsoft does a lot of on-premise business. They supply businesses and the likes. Microsoft takes well over $100 million out of this country every year. So if Microsoft does that, it is one of their biggest markets. You can't compare that to the Ghanaian market, for instance. So take, for instance, Nigeria used to be a subsidiary of Microsoft before. I know this because I'm an insider in there, as compared to a Ghanaian market. So you can't take that away. Microsoft will definitely make those investments, as well as Google and the likes. But it behoves on us to be able to fix those problems we are having. It's not an interesting climate, for business. It's not an interesting climate for tech. Look at what happened recently with cryptocurrency.
Yeah, the lady went on to say
the big clampdown on cryptocurrency. Don't forget that Jack Dorsey is big on cryptocurrency. He has a company called Square Square does a lot of cryptocurrency payments and the likes. So when he saw the clampdown on cryptocurrency, he'll look and say, what's happening? Look at what happened again recently about fintechs online that create a platform for trading. So we have regulatory authorities that make policies that are not benefiting young Nigerian innovators and entrepreneurs. And that's the problem. And it's looking as though Nigeria is killing its own talents by itself. And that's why they're looking for other enabling environments to be able to thrive. So apart from looking at it and say, okay, he's going to Ghana, we should also look at the reasons that are keeping us back and why can't Nigeria thrive? Why can't these tech companies come to Nigeria in droves? Because when they come, they create jobs. Look at the rule, for instance, for a very, very strictly Nigeria rule that was specified there. The person has to sit and walk out of Ghana. It is the time for us to look inward in this country and fix everything necessary to keep the ecosystem running for young people in this country. We have a lot of young people. We have a youth bulge that are not being serviced. The average age of Nigeria, the median age of this country is about 19 to 20 years of age. And technology is the quickest way to give them job and give them entrepreneurship skill and give them the wherewithal to be able to play in this economy. But once you take those privileges and opportunities away from them, and there's nothing for them. So we need to work at it. We must not miss the next chance. The next big tech company should be in Nigeria, and the government should work at it. Put in those right reforms. Send the right signals out there so that these people can come.
Well said, Rufai. Dr. Abati, your take on the story?
Well, I commented on this at length earlier on the program, but just additional comments. Now, somebody, a top Nigerian businessman who will remain nameless, said he met with Jack Dorsey not too long ago.
Yeah.
He wanted him to come and invest in Nigeria. It was about investment. That what the gentleman did was to just put up some slides and showed pictures, the number of slides about your country. What are the details in those slides, according to the person telling me this story, about the insecurity challenge in Nigeria, about the problem of power, about the problem of infrastructure. And he told him, so my good friend, you guys, you go fix your country first. When you fix your country, you will attract people like us. Yeah. Well, I cannot mention the person's name because this was supposed to be a business, private conversation between the two of them. And that explains, that would seem to provide a justification for why in taking the decision to set up the headquarters in West Africa, in Africa, Twitter chose Ghana. And if we look at the two countries, the environments are different. Ordinarily, you say, yes, Nigeria is the big market. That's where you have the number of people who use Twitter in Nigeria. Their population is more than the entire population.
Yes, if we look at the statistics
of Ghana.
Correct.
Right,
just our numbers alone.
Now, if you go to Ghana, they have better power. They have better roads. It's easier to get a visa to Ghana. They have better infrastructure, okay? It's a more enabling environment. There is security. If you go to Accra, you can walk on the streets of Accra at 1 a.m. and not be afraid that anything will happen to you. Now, but when you are the owner of Twitter and you want to come and set up an office in Africa, and you hear that people have been kidnapped on the streets of Lagos, or that in Port Harcourt you are not safe, or the other day, you are likely to just hedge your bets and go to where you can have peace of mind. And that's the lesson for the Nigerian government. We need to fix Nigeria. If we fix Nigeria, then we will get better investment. Now, some people say, well, there is insecurity in Nigeria. It doesn't affect the flow of foreign investment. Well, that's not true. Yes. Some people put up that argument, but that is not true. The more the situation in Nigeria worsens in terms of security, the more careful people will be when they are drawing up their business strategy, when they are drawing up their investment plan, when they are doing their business intelligence reports. All those things add to how people react. Not too long ago, we talked about ShopRite leaving Nigeria. Now, what excuse the ShopRite gave? ShopRite talked about difficult operating environment in Nigeria. Now, this is the same thing that we have seen here. Businesses that are even in Nigeria, they are leaving. And many of them, long before now, the destination that they choose is Ghana. Yes. So you see that Ghana benefits from our own, problems here, despite the fact, of course, that there is the problem of free speech, and Twitter says they promote free speech. Yes. They want to promote conversation. And if there is this fear that that free speech environment does not exist in Nigeria, although I think, that's an exaggeration, compared to other African countries. Yeah. But that is where we are.
Yeah, that's the point. Good, well said, both of you. We'll take our final story. Wonder why anyone would want to carry a coffin on his head in the full glare of the public. This is what a Nigerian pastor, Archbishop Benjamin Mustapha, also known as Jehovah SHARP SHARP, had done in protest against what he called bad governance. Let's take a quick look.
I carry this coffin on my head because the Lord God Almighty is not happy with the leadership of Nigeria. Intentionally deplot the resources of the Commonwealth of this country. This Commonwealth is what belongs to the people. Here right now, the message is reaching you directly. You will not say you have not been warned.
Oh, I found it really difficult to relate the symbolism of a coffin to what he was. I mean, what was that about?
I'll help you. I'll help you relate it. The coffin is carrying on his head. Just imagine the coffin of the slain farmers in Zabamari.
Okay.
Imagine the coffins of the soldiers we saw just now.
Okay.
Imagine the coffins of people that have been killed by banditry in Oyo.
Okay.
Imagine the coffin of people that are killed in Potiskum in other parts of the country. Imagine the coffin of the 2 princes that were shot by bandits in Delta State recently. Imagine the coffin of people that are killed all over the country every single day. 15 murdered, 20 murdered, 30 murdered. If you want a symbolism, that's the coffin. And that's why we must do something to stop the carriage of coffin in this country. We are carrying too much coffins.
You said it
right. The man's name is Jehovah SHARP SHARP.
Jehovah SHARP SHARP.
And he was asked, why didn't he carry that coffin all the way to Aso Villa? He said God did not show him that vision.
Yes.
So he was on the streets of
I wish we had enough time to discuss this.
Anyway, thank you, Oji. We'll see you tomorrow.